So one thing I love is I love the paranormal. Ghost videos, UFOs, cryptids, all that stuff. But I actually don't believe in any of it. I actually find most of these videos can be explained with simple explanations. And most of the time when we say we've seen a ghost, we're just jumping to conclusions. But that's what I'm here to do today, to see whether or not this is a ghost video or something more simpler. I'm here to explain paranormal. Okay, so... Oh, was that it? There's no red circle, so it's very hard to see. Okay, well, let's stop and see what's going on here. So, there's something obviously right here. The question is whether it's a glare or some sort of ghost. Can I... So, when we get closer to it, we can kind of see through it. It doesn't really seem to have any distinctive shape whatsoever. But to call it a glare, I don't think is really correct, because we see the glare from the headlights or some sort of light down there, and we can see, even with this grainy footage, the difference. The difference is that the glare seems to you can see the glare continues to go in one direction, while this seems to have some more definitive shape. And there is no definitive shape whatsoever. So it doesn't look like an animal or even a person. It just looks like something. But to be honest, it looks like a trash bag. Not a trash bag, a grocery bag. If we go back to it, let's play it back really, really slow. So if we look at it, actually, no. I'm going to take back my trash bag theory. Because looking at it, it looks stationary. If it was some sort of trash bag, it would have been flowing in the wind. You know what? I reinstate my trash bag theory. If we look at this frame really quickly, we see with the headlights off it, it's got this more disturbed shape, and it's actually starting to tilt this way. Let's see. So we have the headlights on it, have the headlights on it, have the headlights on it. Headlights off. And we can see this shape here. Which resembles a trash bag. My only problem with this little theory I have right now is that it's not really moving. If you've ever seen a trash bag or a grocery bag or whatever fly through the wind, especially in traffic, I've seen it all the time. They do tend to move quite a lot. Now, of course, there are no other cars for a very, very, very long distance. This is the first car, and the truck hasn't approached it enough to start it to get it to move again. So it could be falling. So let's see. Because as the truck approaches, we do get that more disturbed or distinguished shape, especially at that moment right there. And it does look like it is kind of falling, but it's really hard to tell. The footage is not honestly the greatest, and but my only explanation I could put, this is some sort of debris probably a shopping bag. But let's just not take my word for it. Let's test a few things. One, it's very clear that this is reflecting the lights. Now, it's not super reflective, but it's reflective enough that it's causing it to brighten up, which is why when we get over here, it starts to darken, disappear. So our regular grocery bag's reflective enough to actually produce that light. My next question is, can a grocery bag fall in a stable way straight down, completely open, or do they constantly fall this way and that way? So let's put some tests to it. Okay, so I've gotten 3 different bags, grocery bags, that you can get almost anywhere in the US. One's a Target. Targets are pretty everywhere. I picked Target because Target is white, and I feel that it would be some sort of white bag. I know it's got this big red target on it, which we didn't see in the video. But I figured maybe it would be trickier to see, 1 at night, and 2 in blurry footage. I also picked a gas station bag. Don't know if you can get them in Arizona, but they're also white. Called Racetrack, which is, here local to me. I picked this one because this is actually a lot thinner than the Target bag. The Target bag's plastic is definitely a lot thicker than this one. This is definitely a cheaper bag. And then I went for one of this is a different type of material. This is actually made of plastic. Now it is white, it's from World Market, but it's kind of a different type of white. It's also a little bit bigger and a bit thinner. So I've got these 3 bags. So let's first, and I've got my flashlight. Let's see how reflective each one of them are. So this is a kind of bigger flashlight. It's as similar as I could think to a truck flashlight. If I shine it in the mirror, you can see it appears almost like the headlight that we see also in the video. So let's see what kind of reflectivity we get. Let me stand a little bit back. So it's hard to see. There is some reflectivity, but definitely very, very dim. And I'm trying not to sign a perfect circle on it because we didn't really get a perfect circle. But the truck was also moving. So we're seeing some dim with the World Market. Let's see what we get with, that's actually a lot more reflective. That's almost to the mirror. Now, I don't obviously have gauges with this, but obviously these bags have some reflectivity to it. And just for comparison, the Target. So the Racetrack and the Target bag seem to be very, very similar, which is to be expected. Not only are they the same color, they're the same type of plastic. However, the Racetrack seems to be significantly thinner. But what I'm interested in is this yellow World Market bag. It's a different material, and it's a slightly yellowish color. It's not very white. However, it seemed to reflect closer to what I'm seeing in the video than what the other 2 bags were seeing. So maybe it wasn't a white bag. Maybe it was something more like a brown or, yellowish brown type of plastic like this. But what I am seeing is that, yes, plastic bags will reflect not a lot of light, but some levels of light. Now, obviously, it's not nighttime, and it's not nighttime. I don't have actual gauges. This is all just going to be as, to call this as scientific is a little bit of a stretch, but work with me. So the next thing is that the object appeared to be very stationary. It almost seemed like it wasn't moving, which is a big deal. So the question is, how long does it take for a bag to plummet to the ground? If it plummets to the ground really fast, then obviously it probably wasn't a bag. But if it does take quite a bit, it could have been the bag. And, you know, because there were no other cars on the road, the bag had no other means of motion. Now right now I'm the only thing in this room. The ceiling fan is off. We're very far away from the AC vent, so any form of wind blowing should be none. So let's see how the World Market bag falls. Okay, so it does fall pretty slowly, but it also does bring up to my next point, which is that the bag doesn't exactly fall straight down. Even when fully opened, you know, how we would expect a random trash bag to appear on the roads. That time it fell a little bit straight down. Let's try one more time. It does fall slowly, and it does fall, it can seem to fall straight down semi-consistently. However, I'm still not convinced that what we're seeing is just because of how stationary it was. And being that it was outside, there should have been, you know, some level of winds. I don't know the time of year. I don't know in which part. All I know is it's somewhere in Arizona. So I don't really know the climates. So we're just going to take that completely out. But let's try the other bags and see how they fall. That was really, really slow. And really, really straight. So this is the thinnest material bag, the racetrack bag. And there's even points where the bag almost seems to stay in the air just for a couple of seconds, which is actually quite interesting. That time it kind of just plummeted. So another thing I'm seeing is that the bags tend to act similar but never the same. Okay, that time it stayed up in a spot. But another thing I'm noticing that seems to happen all the time. Remember when I said the bag seemed to almost tilt one way? The racetrack bag is actually doing that. It's actually tilting in a certain way as it plummets down. So with perspective and stuff, it's possible that what we are looking at is not a ghost, but some sort of bag. Well, let's just see see everything, the slightly thicker target bag. So the target bag seems to just plummet. Well, there was that tilt. Interesting. Okay, I think I've dropped enough bags to kind of see what's going on here. And I think at the end of the day, I don't think we're looking at a ghost. I think we're looking at maybe one of these shopping bags just thrown about outside. Now, obviously there's a couple things, you know, wrong with this theory. There's a couple things I can't necessarily test because when I don't have equipment or the time. But that's going to be my theory, and this is kind of, well, how I think it could be possible. You know, the bags do seem to be a little bit sporadic, but they do seem to just kind of all float down really gently. Without knowing the outside stuff with like winds and all that kind of stuff, it could have been a very calm day. It could have been a very windy day. However, I think it's fair to say that we're not looking at a ghost. We're looking at a shopping bag, which is being reflected by the headlights of the truck to give it a more larger experience. And that larger experience may make it look more stationary than it really is. It may actually be somewhat falling. And obviously there's more bags out there. You know, even though these bags are incredibly similar, they do have somewhat different properties. But I think that's what I'm going to call it for this one. I think I'm going to call this one just another trash bag. If you guys have any other videos you want to see me look at or test, let me know in the description below. If you have any suggestions on how I could retest this to more definitively defend my point, or if you or if you just think I'm playing wrong, also leave it. I'm not against trying to retest to try to get a better result. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one.